Good morning to the young and, of course, the young at heart. Who do you say Jesus is? Jesus asked this very important question when he was teaching, and he asked quite a lot of questions in his teaching. So I try to ask some questions in my teaching too. Here's a question for you about questions. How do questions help us learn? Questions make us think. And here's a follow-up question for you. Does God want us to think? I think you know the answer. Of course. Remember the Shema that Jesus said is the most important command. Remember that Shema means listen, Israel. The Lord our God is one Lord. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, yourself, your mind, and your strength. In other words, love God with everything that you are and everything that you have, including the brain that God gave you. And don't check your brains at the door when you go to church or someone is teaching you about the Bible. I think this is a very funny and clever cartoon. You see, the guy at the church door says, "Morning, sir. Welcome to First Church. Would you like to leave your brain with me before you go in?" So there was a time when Jesus asked his disciples two important questions. Remember that disciples means students. On this occasion, they were traveling somewhere. Of course, they had to walk everywhere they went. And Jesus turned and asked the students first, "Who do people say I am?" They answered, "Some people say John the Baptist, others Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." So some people thought that one of these prophets had been resurrected, and that's who Jesus was. So if we put their answers in multiple choice format, it would look like this. A, John the Baptist, B, Elijah, C, Jeremiah, D, another one of the prophets, or E, all of the above. Well, all of the above what some people were saying. Different people were saying each of those answers about who they thought Jesus was. But then Jesus asked his students an even more important question. Imagine that Jesus is asking you this question. Who do you say that I am? Now imagine that it was a multiple choice question. What would you answer? A, you are God. B, you are just an ordinary man. C, you are an angel or archangel. D, I left blank for you to think about what you would fill in the blank. Or E, none of the above. Think about your answer. Well, what did the disciples answer? Peter was the one who spoke up. He was often the one to speak up and say what the others might be thinking. You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Let's look at the two parts of his answer. Jesus is the Messiah, which means chosen king of the coming kingdom. And remember, we could summarize the whole Bible and say that it's about the king and the kingdom. And also Peter said that Jesus is the Son of God, which means God was his father. He had no human father as all the rest of us do. You probably heard recently that Queen Elizabeth II of England died, and she is replaced on the throne by her son Charles, who is now called King Charles III. So that got me thinking that when the kingdom comes, Jesus will be King Jesus the first and only. So what was Jesus the teacher's feedback to Peter's answer? Did Peter get it right or wrong? You are blessed, which basically means good for you. Good job. People didn't teach you that, but my Father who is in heaven. So Jesus said that Peter's answer was excellent. So remember, to the question, who do you say Jesus is? The right biblical answer is the Messiah, the Son of God. That is the A+ answer.